Welcome to Heidi Relationships. Today, we'll read some more stories from Reddit. But before we start, I would really appreciate if you could subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and maybe leave a comment down below. That would help the channel a lot. Thank you very much in advance.
The first story, written by user Nihilistic Phoenix, is titled, Helicopter Gothel, You Get an Illness, and You Get an Illness. We're reaching 2 months NC with Helicopter Gothel, and a similar amount with Enabler Dad. I'd like to say I'm fine, but a part of me is angry, because my brother lives with them, and we have almost no contact either. As sheltered in GC as he is, I'd wish we could share a bond. But I myself know how hard it is to escape a narc household influence. So today I bring some stupidness for you to laugh at. Helicopter Gothel has always been kind of hypochondriac and over-exaggerating person. I don't know if her childhood plays a role in this, but obviously is a great way to get attention. Even worse, every family get-together, she and her mother. Great-grandma did this too, inevitably end up turning the conversation in exchange of illnesses, other people's and their own. I must mention that they're absolutely into homeopathy, new age potpourri and crunchy stuff, so it goes as fun as it sounds. When Helicopter Gothel was young, she was average slim. By the time she had her second child, she had developed some sort of beer gut. It was odd looking, and throughout the years it was frequently mistaken for a pregnant belly. She already had a disordered relationship with food, and this sent her craziness up to the skies. Her homeopath said it was irritable bowel syndrome, so she went for years with bland food. It did not improve. She'd lost weight, but the weird pouch remained. Visiting a real doctor? No, never. So she went with lactose intolerance. No good. Then her homeopath suggested allergy to flour stuff. Not quite there. Finally, the conclusion was celiac disease, and her condition improved. But of course, her body resents the lack of proper nourishment. Now onto the fun. Of course, she couldn't be alone. First, Grandma and Gothel's sister had to be celiacs too. It seems true. But now, all they do is to blame gluten for everything, and entertain themselves doing the armchair diagnosis for everyone. They suspect the issue comes from great-grandma's side. Given that Helicopter Gothel thinks my body is an extension of hers, she was hell-bent on me being a celiac too. Nope. Just like when she insisted we had same blood type. We don't have this in common either. She seems bummed, but is convinced that my brother is. So now our house is gluten-free and close to vegetarian. Just enough so you can reap the benefits of pity and holier than thou at once. Still, none of them has got an official diagnosis by a doctor. Helicopter Gothel neglected us medically for the years, having us get only homeopathy for everything, and maybe some real meds if her quack said so. That being said, she rejoiced on imagining conditions on her and us. Lo and behold, she once made a big crying scene about her becoming blind to glaucoma. Why? Because the ophthalmist told her to watch a bit for any weird symptoms, as her ocular pressure was a bit high. That was it. Of course, nothing else happened. Oh, but she cried and cried. She had an enormous cyst in her wound that required surgery and hysterectomy. Douche homeopath only said that she had POS after years of her complaining, no excruciating pain and endless periods. She still visits the same guy. She was anemic by the time she had the surgery. If I complained about cramps, her answer. Perhaps you've got a myeloma too. She always treated my UTI with ducking homeopathic drops. Oh, sure, I love being a week in pain. About the same time of the hysterectomy, she had an UTI too. Crap almost became pyelonephritis. She was on 0 antibiotics, of course. Still against them because of reasons. Before the celiac epiphany, her sister was diagnosed with insulin resistance. Then Helicopter Gothel began seeing it everywhere. So, of course, my mini pouch due to 0 workouts was a symptom. Sleepy, symptom. As if she needed another reason to try to mess with my eating/dieting. I was lucky not to live with her by then, but how annoying it was. Before the celiac disease, she was also convinced she had fibromyalgia, so cue the endless tales of unfortunate people who lived in constant pain. And she would pity herself, picturing her next years in the same suffering. Of course, she was so delicate. How could we dare breathe in the same room, for everything could cause her pain? Nadler Dad obliged, obviously. Still no doctor appointments to rule out other stuff. Now all her misery is gluten-related and fibromyalgia is forgotten. Her untreated back problems and bruxism could be to blame, but that won't give you as much pay supply. She and Enabler Dad neglected household dental care for years. Obviously, brushing teeth can do so much. So, when both ended with periodontitis, she was appalled. Why? She had 0 cavities. Sure, it's foul breath that made them. Quit kissing. It's not a hint of something wrong. I had my own dental duckery to deal with, and my gums were swollen due to a broken filling. Everything went away when I got my fixes this year. Bless my country's dental program for prigos. And Gothel was obviously bummed that I didn't have periodontitis too. Nor that I attended public care instead of her same dentist, who gladly disclosed more details of my teeth condition with her than me and treated me like a dumb child despite knowing I'm close to 30. Right now, this is most of her health-related stupidness. Other medical neglect is almost the typical. Unless she could use it for pity, we were exaggerating. But if it was her, it was the end of the world. Well, I forgot to mention that she, in line with homeopathic stuff, believes that illnesses are caused by emotions and thoughts. Or more like you brought this on yourself. Picture the judgmental attitude that obviously doesn't apply to her. I hope that one of her constant coughing fits, that I heard because we lived next door, becomes endless so she can't speak crap to me, or my husband anymore lol. Until we can afford to move, I'll live in constant alert. She's been too quiet. Please tell me how you deal with the incoming dread feeling. The next story is an update, and it is titled, Helicopter Gothel is Beautiful Inside. Time ago, Helicopter Gothel had a hysterectomy. Instead of visiting real doctors, she endured years of endless period bleeding and pain because her homeopath kept giving her drops for alleged ovarian cysts. She had a ducking huge myoma and was border anemic. The doctor and team apparently were appalled due to its size. A couple of pounds, but that's according to her. Now it comes the funny part. After surgery, Gothel says that the doctor stated that she had pretty and healthy-looking guts, nice and clean. I bet that then everybody in the room stood up, nurses cried, and somebody handed her $100. Really, even if it were true. I can't even. She still proudly narrates her tale when health and illness tales are told. And I can assure that crap is ducking impossible. Living with an untreated food intolerance and chronic constipation won't give you such guts, but it must be her sole healthy lifestyle and clean eating. Isn't she wonderful? The next story is an update, and it is titled, Update: The Long Road to Become Parents and How Both Sides of the Family Suck. My baby came 3 weeks earlier, and I underwent an emergency C-section. In my country, Chile, public employees were on a national strike that ended past Friday. The hospital I gave birth at is not jokingly called a butcher house. While I qualified for benefits such as zero copay and a lot of baby stuff, as crib and more, the 3-night stay was a complete nightmare. Procedure mistakes, some members of the staff treating patients like crap, and the place in not so great condition, add to the already stressful experience of having baby stay 24/7 with you and 7 more people in the room. Sleep deprived. When we came home, I got many anxiety attacks, quite severe, making me wake up disoriented and crying. Baby had to return one night to NICU due to hyperbilies. Bonding was hard as I couldn't have skin to skin with her, and the whole situation stress. And aside from my beloved husband's endless support and care, there was nobody else to rely upon. Breastfeeding has been horrid. I got cracks and pain, was toe curling. But midwives in gear don't teach you much and expect you to just deal with it. We went on our own and got a pump. And finally a nipple shield, otherwise I'd be with mastitis right now. Oh, and we still need to fix paperwork. And baby has stuffy nose, so nights are hell. I just don't get any sleep. The only thing I want is my husband to hold me close and nap. Then there's both families' deal. On hubby's side, Dumdug BAL texted out of the glue, "Is she born yet?" Hub was tired of subtly hinting to him that such manners were rude, so he outright told BAL that he was being rude. "Oh, sorry." "Fine, but that already made me upset." "Chill, dude, it seems that you have too much estrogen going on." "Yes, he isn't invited anymore." SIL has over-controlling ways, and we've been distant with her for a couple of years. Husband wanted to be civil and sent her a pic of baby, which got angry. "How can you just text me that she is my niece?" "What's wrong with you?" "I don't understand you, but..." and went on an endless guilt-tripping tirade. We don't know what she was expecting, but whatever. She won't be invited either. You don't get to ignore your brother every time you don't get your demands met, and then pretend you're family. MIL is bearable, so she did get invited, but she just went poking the baby and trying to see if she cried. She wanted to listen to her cries because that was cute. And she mentioned it was so great to meet her son's daughter. Did I mention that they were estranged by 20 years due to his father manipulation? Still weirded husband a bit, but he remained calm. Anyway, I'll have to endure her ways, BC in the worst case, because we have nobody else to ask for help if I need company for appointments. Now on to Helicopter Gothel and to my side. Almost 3 months of NC with Helicopter Gothel. My house is sandwiched between hers and her mother's house, but even if we bumped onto them, we wouldn't say a word. She seems to be so close now to her younger sister, who always wanted my place. Their mother had been trying to snoop at us, not even trying to be discreet at her window. Also seems to have already told all of her friends that my baby is born, judging from conversations I can hear from my yard. When I was at the hospital, Enabler Dad had the nerve to call to my husband's phone. I blocked him, and I had the displeasure of answering. "So when is your C-section scheduled?" "Later, when it's needed." And then I confronted him about the landlord's crapfest. "Why did you lie and tell us that there was no written contract when you had one at your name during all these years? But what's the matter? It's a mere detail. Why is it a problem? The fact that you don't think there's a problem with it, that's the problem. I'm busy now, bye." I bet Gothel hadn't snooped up. That ruined the afternoon for me, but we just blocked his number. He called 6 more times later. 6. Also, Enabler Dad's mother, she called me too. They just keep giving her my number, despite the million times I asked them not to. She is a J and Nil on her own right, and played favorites with my dad and siblings, is being the C, same for me and my brother. So I could act civil to her at family meetings, but she was never a grandma for me, and I truly dislike her. Unknown number calling me. Husband picks up. "Hey, nihilistic phoenix. It's me, your granny." Wrong number. How could it be wrong? "No, nihilistic phoenix." He hung up and added her to the block list. Oh, and tonight we stumbled upon Enabler Dad. We were coming back from grocery shopping, and he saw us from the other side. Then he began walking backwards and saying hi. Funny thing, husband didn't recognize him and kept pushing the stroller, thinking he was some weirdo. Lol. On the bright side, our shopkeepers at a couple of stores, husband shops there almost daily, have sent us nothing but good wishes, and even a gift. Other people, such as the Neighbors Association president, did the same. My local healthcare staff congratulated me too, and husband's friends have been very respectful to visit and brought gifts for baby. Even Batcrap Crazy, husband's workplace boss, congratulated him, same as a lot of his customers. It's nice to remember that there are loving people out there. It's been quite hard for both of us, but now little one has turned us into a family, and we won't take our relatives' crap at all, never again. I have so many chancla hits waiting for any sign of bullcrap. I'm almost eager for it. The next story is an update, and it is titled Helicopter Gothel, Animal Lover. Trigger warning for this one. Helicopter Gothel is very cruel when it comes to animals. When I was a child, Helicopter Gothel's sister, the one who wants to be just like her, began with this cat hoarding habit. Grandma would barely tolerate them. Gothel would always make her disgust for cats known. They're dirty, smelly, etc. I don't remember exactly what happened, but somehow the fluffiest, gorgeous lost cat ended at our house. Poor thing seemingly had leukemia and did not live too much, but her loving nature seemed to change Gothel's mind. Then we ended with a precious Roman cat who made our house her home. She was pregnant, and so many years of cat hoarding began. The first kitty had luck and got some vet care. This new cat mama didn't. She gave birth on a box, and none of the numerous litters she had got neutered nor anything. They all lived in our yard, never allowed to get into the house, except for one male cat who was a favorite and sadly had some deadly condition. The rest of them, aside from being fed, just lived on their own. Obviously, having so many cats in a small place became problematic. Cats from different litters would fight and breed among themselves. Other cats would wander in the yard, pee stains on the windows. Some rare times we would offer the cats for other people to adopt. The rest would live and die or get lost in these Iraq conditions, and one day insanity began. One of the cats who had recently given birth lost her mind. Until recently, she was Gothel's favorite and who played daily. Poor cat killed her kittens, and who had to deal with the gruesome scene. Of course, that Helicopter Gothel wouldn't. As my dad was at his work, I had to get rid of the bodies. I had never dealt with such a thing. At first I wasn't too horrified until I grabbed what was the lower half of a kitten, seemingly cannibalized, who got to act traumatized and oh so affected. Gothel. Only there she realized we had a cat overpopulation problem. The strategy: have Dad abandon the less wanted cats on vacant lots. There were no pet foster homes nearby at that time, and my country is quite overpopulation of stray animals. But that still sucked. With time, all the cats who were born from the Roman one died, got lost or rid of, and so we finally were petless. Later I had another cat that we all loved and was the first to be allowed inside. He got vet care and all. Time later he disappeared. Gothel says that our neighbor, a POS mean dude, told her that he had caught the cat inside his car, so he dumped him in a vacant lot. But her story might be false, as other times she has lied too. Time later, in my last couple of high school years, my brother and I brought home 2 kittens. Dad had already found a Rottweiler cub on the streets, so Helicopter Gothel was not thrilled. The dog was getting some proper vet care, and she would complain that it would be even more expensive to keep the kitties. But the furballs were so well behaved that she finally gave in. At this point, a sad thing happened. The male kitten was found dead one morning. No signs of anything aside from some blood. I remember the dog playing with them. She was an awkward, loving, but rough thing, and she sat on him a moment. Maybe it was just because the kitty was really young. Anyway, I already dealt with the feedings, so I had to deal with the corpse too. My brother would almost never help and only cared about playing with the pets. In fact, I remember him as a young kid being mean to other cats, without provocation, and once he trapped a kitty into a box because she bites him. The surviving cat grew up and got pregnant. Gothel would complain about this, but what do you expect when you keep the cat outside and don't take them to the vet? Kitties would be born, I'd be there, but things became gruesome again. The dog was quite my dad's baby girl. Rottweilers can be quite territorial and may become aggressive if they're improperly trained. This dog never got discipline aside from a kick in the ass when she refused to get out of the house. With such conditions, she began attacking the cats. Soon she killed her first one. What do you think that happened? Dog got beaten and Dad dumped the corpse, who acted traumatized. Gothel. Every single ducking time the dog mauled a cat, Dad or I had to deal with the dead body, clean the blood, but Gothel would act as if she had been in a car accident. Refusing to eat, silently lying in bed, crying her poor baby's death. She acted the same when the dog had a litter and the puppies were given to other people's. The dog became crazy too. Every time she is fertile, she steals something and nests with it in a hole. She is 1 decade old, and regardless of it, she never got neutered. Is that the word? Nor retrained. She must have killed about 10 cats at least. Others, from the endless oncoming litters, died to sickness, were in a great horrible night, where seemingly they all ate poisoned food. About 15 cats died then. It was supposedly some neighbors' doing, but no action was taken. And of course, Gothel reaped the pity, while I was the one who kept the animals company until they parted. I remember Dad dumped all the bodies in a sack, which all the rest of the neighbors knew what it was after a whole night of sad cat cries of pain. This is so long story. It's just that remembering how Gothel is in FB animal lovers groups from wealthy neighborhoods instead of her actual one infuriates me to no end. She is currently with just a couple of cats, who underwent surgery so no more kittens and dog. She always complained about the costs of vet, and that's so stupid, because there are responsible pet tenants programs in here, so you pay a small amount or even nothing for basic stuff. And now, with better financial situation, she and Dad keep their neurotic dog with an abdominal hernia and cysts without surgery. Why? Because reasons. Probably because that way she can reap pity, because her poor baby is sick and old and might die in the surgery or whatever. On a side note, her sister keeps the same crap pattern of neglect. Both like to act all traumatized when their pets get ran over or die, yet provide almost zero care. And Helicopter Gothel still had the nerve to obsess about the way me and my husband cared and neglected our dog. Dumbcrowd. I wonder what her pet lover friends would think about this. Bonus points for the time she said she could babysit my future child. Her dog not only mauls cat and hates my dog, also hates toddlers. Nope. This is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the Just No Mother-in-Law stories. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and write a comment. I really appreciate your support, and it helps my channel so much. Thank you.